Clash of Clans. The game tells you so much, yet there's still lots to discover and some things that the game just doesn't tell you that can be really helpful to know. So today I gathered 10 of my personal favorite things I wish I knew when I started playing, or things I wish I started to do sooner. Hopefully I can help at least one person. So let's get right into it.
Let's do this.
Number 1. Archer Queen's range. Have you ever been attacking a base? Well, I mean, obviously you have, you play Clash of Clans. You have it all mapped out in your head. You start dropping things, but then the Archer Queen is back at it again. She completely ignores what you wanted her to attack. This is due to the Archer Queen's range that a lot of people overlook or don't even know about. Because let's be honest, who's even looking at the stats, am I right? But even if you did, you wouldn't know anyways, because the stats are nowhere to be found in the game. So what's the range? Well, it's 5 tiles. What that means is if your Archer Queen is outside a wall where a building is, the wall is 1 tile. In this case, the building is 3, so now you have 4. And the building you're trying to destroy has to be in the 5th tile. If it isn't, the Archer Queen won't reach it. That's why bases have these weird gaps and compartments so that it's hard to reach certain things. Luckily, it's pretty easy to count these tiles in Clash of Clans. I mean, the grass is literally squares. Simply count them the next time you're playing an attack. And don't forget to count stuff like walls. This is also useful for when you're building a base and trying to decide if the Archer Queen could reach your precious Dark Elixir. And if you don't do all that counting shit, you could also use a skeleton trap as a guide. The skeleton trap's range is 5 tiles, so as long as what you're trying to defend is in that white line, the Archer Queen can indeed reach it. Back it up a bit and all of a sudden it's out of range. However, you should know that the Grand Warden has a range of 7, and so sometimes you'll want to take that into account. Number 2. Upgrade your Barbarians and Archers. Let's be real, a lot of us don't use Barbarians and Archers much anymore, and you've probably even stopped upgrading them. Rush Barbarians and Archers, who cares, right? Who's even checking? But if you choose to skip over an upgrade, you don't want that to be the Barbarians and Archers, and here's why. The Barbarians and Archers level in a lab is the same level that your Barbarian King and Archer Queen will deploy with their abilities. So what's the point of upgrading the ability then? Well, it isn't the troops, that's for sure. It's just the stats of the ability. Everything but the troop level. So make sure to upgrade those damn Barbarians and Archers even if you don't use them anymore, because your hero's ability will improve. I don't think the game ever tells you this, which is very surprising. Number 3. Upgrade troops even if you don't use them. I was always the one to max my base out before moving on, at least after Town Hall 9, but let's not talk about that. But there's always been one exception for me, the lab. I always told myself that if I don't use the troop, then why the f would I upgrade it? You know, this worked for a while until I ended up as a Town Hall 12 with level 1 miners. To be fair, I still don't give a shit about miners, but what if I wanted to donate them? What if I decided I wanted to try an army that uses miners, and mine are only level 1? I've learned my lesson way too many times, and for that reason I've been working on maxing troops that I don't even use, because you never know when you're gonna need it. And you don't want to limit yourself by only upgrading certain troops. I did that for years. I basically upgraded everything for Go Wipe, and then all the other armies became so weak, I didn't even use them. If I hadn't ignored some troops, I would have never had to play catch up, but here I am trying to speedrun the damn Yeti to max level, because as it turns out, the Yeti absolutely slaps. So don't do it. Number 4. Trophies don't matter. For a while, when I started playing, it seemed like the goal was to get good and climb trophies. It's what all the cool YouTubers were doing when I was 15, so I wanted to do the same thing. There wasn't much to do in Clash of Clans in 2014 anyways. It was pretty bare bones at the time. You either farm or push, or stop playing. Well, times have changed a lot. I'm not even gonna get started with the amount of things you can do in Clash of Clans. And unless you're trying to complete an achievement or you're maxed out and want to have something to do, there's not really a reason to push trophies. Once you've gotten those gems you wanted and flexed for a little bit, you'll probably never care about trophies again. And that's completely fine. Trust me, the only reason I even look at my trophies is to determine if I'm at a good place to farm. That's it. However, I just wish I knew this sooner. The amount of time I've wasted pushing for some meaningless trophies is astonishing. Tragic. Number 5. Stop leaving things for last. For a while, when I got to a new town hall, I would focus on the big, expensive stuff first, because those are the most powerful things, right? Eagle artillery, town hall weapon, inferno towers, all that jazz. That's not a bad thing, but one thing I did for years that really hurt my progress is leaving everything else for last. God, I wish I had just started working on my heroes sooner when I got to Town Hall 9, or my walls for literally every town hall ever. Leaving stuff for last was probably one of the worst things I did to myself, because when your base is nearly maxed out and you're just starting to focus on walls and heroes or literally anything that there's a lot of, man, you f***ed up. Now is when the real fun starts, right? You're gonna be doing the same thing for weeks, if not months. Never again. The past year or so, I've been upgrading things at the same pace. Nothing is left for last. If I have the resources and builders available, everything's a go. Walls, heroes, traps, everything. Obviously, I have some sort of system figured out, and it isn't totally random, but you get the gist of it. Speaking of not leaving things for last, this next one, number 6, leave a builder free for walls. If you play frequently, you certainly know the pain of having full storages but no builders. It sucks. It feels like the game is telling you to get the f off and wait. Just wait, or you can use gems. Using code Havoc, of course. But f that's why I always, and I mean always, leave a builder free for walls. That is the easiest solution to this. Just leave the last builder exclusively for walls, especially if you have the 6th builder. This works amazingly well. You don't even notice. I guarantee you'll never have full storages again until you max every one of those damn walls. Anyways, yeah, leaving a builder free for walls is certainly something I wish I started doing way sooner. Just work on your walls as your base progresses. Don't leave it for last. Number 7, the obstacle limit. You probably won't care about this unless you plan to collect obstacles, but here's a quick fact you should know that the game doesn't tell you. The obstacle limit is 45. If you reach that, regular obstacles won't spawn anymore, but this limit doesn't apply to special obstacles, meaning if you reach the 45 limit and let's say Christmas comes around and you want that Christmas tree, well, you can still get it. You don't need to remove anything. This applies to any special obstacle and gem boxes. I thought this was important to mention because at one point I thought the 45 limit applied to everything, so I ended up removing duplicate special obstacles to make new space for new ones, you know? But you don't need to do that. Number 8, you don't need to buy all your builders. Builders, right? Barely got my 6th one, and I feel like Thanos when he collected all the Infinity Stones. But the weird thing is, I don't even remember how I got the other 5 because I probably just bought them all. Isn't that normal? And that got me thinking, I wish I would have just saved gems and got it that way. What was the whole rush? It's always been possible to save up your gems and buy them that way, but considering how cheap some of these builder offers are, like $1 or some shit, why would you pass it up? It's not surprising that this is one of the first purchases that people make in Clash of Clans with real money. But if you're 100% free to play, it's certainly possible to get all your builders for free. Just do achievements, don't buy stuff with gems, and don't forget about the builder base as that's where you get the last builder. Number 9, always bring a cleanup crew. There's nothing worse in Clash of Clans than almost getting 100% in an attack, but you don't. Because you already dropped everything you had and there's nothing you can do. You feel hopeless. If only you just bought one extra archer. Well, that's exactly what you should do. Personally, I bring a mix of archers, goblins, and barbarians, but honestly, you can bring whatever the fuck you want. Just make sure the housing space isn't insane. And also make sure it does decent damage. You don't want something that's gonna take forever to chip away at buildings. Another way to mitigate this issue, sometimes, depending on the base you're attacking, you could get away with saving your siege machine and not dropping it at the beginning. Crazy, right? No, not really. This way you have a very beefy cleanup crew, but like I said, this depends on the base. And if you're trying this in a war attack, make sure you plan accordingly. Number 10, it's the journey that's fun, not the end. This is something I've been noticing more and more over the years, especially how Clash of Clans is set up in a way where the end goal seems like maxing out. But the truth is, a lot of the fun you're gonna have is the journey there. Once you're at the end, there's not a whole lot to do with your base. And unless you really love clan wars, or the clan capital, or trophy pushing, well, you probably lose the motivation to play. To this day, this is the reason why I never cared to be just another YouTuber with a max account. It sounds kind of boring, honestly. So just remember, what you're doing right now in Clash is the most fun you'll ever have, unless you're already maxed. I guess just wait for the next town hall. So guys, that's pretty much 10 things I wish I knew or started to do way sooner. There's just a lot that I wish the game told you outright, but I guess discovering some things yourself is also fun. I hope I helped at least one person though. With that being said, I hope you all enjoyed. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching. Havoc Gaming out. Peace!